Thanks, everybody, for coming out this afternoon. We appreciate that. Senator Syme, we really appreciate your leadership on this bill and helping us get it through Frankfort. Sometimes that's not so easy.
No, sir, it's not.
But we're here today to talk about public safety and the ways that we've been able to work with Frankfort to help make progress in this, especially with the help of leaders like Senator Syme. This is a good bill that's going to keep our citizens safer. You'll hear more about our ongoing efforts to keep guns off the street. Once again, we're glad to really work with Senator Syme on the passage of this bill. You know, we try to come up with our priorities. Sarah Massey's back here. She runs our intergovernmental affairs. And then we have to find partners in Frankfort that have either thought about what we were thinking about or say, hey, that makes sense, and then help us get this through Frankfort, which sometimes, even in the best of times, is not that easy. So it takes good leaders to help us with this. Senate Bill 210 aligns with the investments that we've made to help our LMPD officers and others save lives. And when you think about just the past couple of years, we've made a lot of progress. Real-Time Crime Center is one. The 9th Mobile Division with Major Hibbs here is another. Body cameras, Shot Spotter, and many, many more. So this is a significant amount of investments made in a relatively short period of time that we feel we're seeing some good results from as well. You all know that public safety is the #1 item in our budget. 55% of our general funds go to LMPD and our other public safety agencies. We've got to work 24/7 and then a little more to keep our streets safe and also support the brave men and women of LMPD by giving them the tools that they need to do their jobs, protect the streets, and get home safe. We want our police officers to get home in the same shape that they left, which is safe and sound and going back to their loved ones. So we do that in numerous ways. One of the ways we do that is through executing our violence prevention action plan that we've created. It's a 6-point plan. It's been out for about 2 years. It's being studied around the country as an example of a national best practice. We combine that with partners like our Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods. So it's on everything from enforcement of the law, prevention, all the way to re-entry once somebody has paid their time. We also reorganized our police force by putting more cops on the street, especially in high crime areas, following all the data that we have that shows where they can get their best return. The federal task force that we created has been magnificent. Major Hibbs heads that, along with the FBI, the DA, U.S. Marshal, ATF, and the U.S. Attorney Office. With that effort, what we're really trying to do is identify and go after those folks that are the shooters, the shot callers, the folks that have just said, we're going to be dangerous criminals. Nobody deserves to have them on their streets, and our federal task force has done a good job removing the most dangerous citizens off of our streets. Now, getting illegal guns off our streets is another priority. Last year, with the 9th Mobile Division leading the way, LMPD took almost 1,900 guns off the street. Illegal weapons, the highest since merger. So I want to thank all of our LMPD officers. We'll be talking to them here shortly. And a special shout out to Major Hibbs and the 9th Mobile for taking care of business every day. What's most gratifying is seeing that our crime prevention strategy is paying off. We had a really violent period from June 16 to July 17. We're on a 10-month decrease now as it relates to homicides. Overall violent crime in Louisville is down 8.5%. Shootings are down 15%, and homicides are down 31%. So we're making progress, but there's still plenty of work to do. What we can guarantee you from LMPD, I think I feel safe speaking for the chief and the major, and certainly for my office, is that we guarantee maximum effort around good plans and good people. So we're going to keep working our plan. We're going to always seek new ideas, and we're going to continue to seek to improve our results. And then we're going to continue to look for more partnerships in the community. The mayor's office, the police department, the senators in our state, we alone cannot keep our streets safe. We need everybody to participate. So, Senator, thank you for being such a big piece of this puzzle here for us. Look forward to hearing from you here in a second after we hear from Chief Conrad. Chief?
Mayor, thank you. I appreciate the kind words about the efforts of our officers, particularly the folks that are out there working on the street. Billy Hibbs or Major Hibbs and his folks are out there getting after it every day. And I'll tell you, I am pleased to have the opportunity to be standing next to Senator Syme and have the opportunity to thank him personally for moving this bill forward and making it a reality. It will make Louisville and our officers safer. And, sir, I cannot thank you enough for that.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. You know, every day, the men and women of our department are out there on the streets doing everything they can to make this a safer city. And one of the primary goals they have is trying to get guns off the street, particularly out of the hands of criminals. This bill gives us the opportunity to further hold people accountable for their behaviors, especially when they've been told by the courts that they're not allowed to possess a weapon. And these are people who, because of their criminal record, cannot possess a weapon. The mayor already talked a little bit about the guns we're taking off the streets. Major Hibbs and his folks in the 9th Mobile Division have already taken 238 guns off the street this year. 78 of those guns were in the hands of convicted felons, which underscores the importance of this kind of bill. Even more frightening is the fact that 26 of these guns were in the hands of juveniles. Additionally, our patrol officers are out there looking for guns as well. They're doing what they can to get them off the street. They're seizing guns in every division, and I can tell you that in the 2nd and 4th divisions already this year, they have taken 100 guns off the street in each division. One of the most frustrating things I'll tell you that our officers have out there is having to arrest the same person over and over and over, particularly those people who we know that are out there causing us the most serious problems. This law gives prosecutors a way to hold these repeat criminals accountable. But the mayor is right. This bill, as important as it is only part of the solution. You hear me say it, and I'm going to continue to say it, we will not arrest our way out of our problems. What we need is the community's help. We need the community to get involved. If you are out there and you know something about a crime, please share what you know with us. If you're afraid of retaliation or retribution, please call us at 574-LMPD, the anonymous tip line, and let us do what we can together to make our city safer. If there's a young person in your life, make sure you're involved in their lives and providing them with the kind of guidance they need to make better decisions. If you don't have a young person in your life, look for opportunities to be a mentor to a young person. Look to Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and other organizations. The mayor has set that example here in our city with Metro mentors, and he's allowed officers and other Metro employees to have time off during their work week to mentor an at-risk youth. Those are the kinds of things that we need to have happen. And the last thing that I would ask of neighbors and citizens in our community is to get involved with your neighborhood. Get to know who lives there. Get to know what the problems are and work with the local officers, the beat officers, the division resource officers, and the division majors to do what you can together to make your neighborhood what you want it to be. We're here to help. We will do what we can. But I will tell you that thanks to Senator Son, who regularly supports all of these kinds of efforts, was obviously a big part of this bill. It just shows that we cannot do it all, but we can do it with valuable partners like Senator Son. So, Senator, thank you very, very much for all you've done. And I'd like to ask you to please say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me let everybody in on a secret. Chief Conrad, he was my beat cop back in the day when I was in the restaurant and bar business out in South Louisville. And I want to thank any police officer that's serving today. Thank you for serving. It's not an easy thing. And I remember back in the day, the Louisville Police Department saved my rear more than once over the many years that I was in business when I needed them. I want to thank the mayor for sending Sarah Massey to Frankfurt. She's the one who brought the bill to me, and Senate Bill 210, in case you've missed the number. And Sarah, you know, I'm the only, been a member of the Judiciary Committee now for, I guess, 30 years as a non-attorney, and my title is non-attorney assistant, I think, is on the Judiciary Committee. And maybe after I retire, somebody will make me an honorary attorney or something, but I might be the only one in the state at that point in time. So anyway, that was supposed to be funny. Anyway, 210 obviously enhances the penalties for any felon, convicted felon in the use of a handgun or any weapon with a future crime, something sorely needed. It was an honor to do this. It's an honor to work with my police department. I want to shout out to Nick Jurek. Is Nick's last? Is it my spelling? Jellick. Nick Jellick, who's the president of your FOP that helped pass that bill, by the way, in the House and Senate. So teamwork, working together. I can work with this mayor. I happen to like Mayor Fisher. And
Don't act so surprised.
well, I do. You do. And sometimes we're on different teams, but that's America. So with that said, thank you for having me, and it's an honor to be here to be part of this. And if you ever need me, give me a call. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good job.
Yes, sir.
We have time for just a couple quick questions. Major Hibbs, you were on the front lines of this. Can you kind of talk to us about the frustrations? You and I were talking briefly before we got started. Some of the arrests you've made, you're seeing the same people over and over again. Now that the prosecutors have a little bit of clout, how much is this going to help your guys?
I'll give you a couple stats. I'm a stat-driven leader here. So last year we see 635 guns, and 51% of those weapons were on convicted felons. That's in 1 year. So we did a little counting, and before we went to Frankfurt, 18 of the individuals we've seen twice since September 27, 2015, when 9th Mobile Division started. We've seen 18 people multiple times, 2 times, that are convicted felons that just the 45 men and women of LMPD's 9th Mobile Division have seen were convicted felons, and we've bumped into them twice. We bumped into 4 individuals since September 27, 2015 that were convicted felons, and we got them 3 times. In the past 7 days, we encountered 2 of those individuals. One of them had multiple weapons on him. So, you know, to keep the individuals behind these doors just as motivated, and we grind. We get out here every day and grind. 7 days a week, we don't stop. The individuals in this community that are going to carry weapons, if they're going to be a convicted felon and get a second chance or a third chance and get out here in the community and continue to do what they're doing, we're going to encounter them. They're either going to stop or they're going to go to prison. We grind every day, 7 days a week. That's why we keep encountering the same people, and we're not going to stop.
And these people, it's safe to say, are violent offenders up to no good.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, without a doubt.
I have a question about statistics. This is slightly off topic, but you're talking about arrests and things. The Washington Post did a study crunching the numbers from 2010 to 2017 and looking at Louisville. They found a discrepancy in homicide cases where when the victim was white, 70% of the cases had an arrest versus 50% of the cases where someone who was African American had an arrest. Have you seen that study, and what's your response to those figures?
I had a brief moment to look at the article. I've not had an opportunity to review the study, but I think that underscores the issue and importance of calling 574 LMPD when you have information about a crime. Many of our neighborhoods, people are afraid to come forward because they're afraid of retaliation. In many of the neighborhoods where we see people that we know have seen the crime, we know someone out there knows it. These are neighborhoods that are predominantly areas where African American citizens live here in our community. They call, you know, that's where they call home. And we know they have information about crime, but they're fearful. And we don't see that in every neighborhood in our community. And that is really what I believe is driving that stat, not only here in Louisville, but in many other cities around the country that have seen that happen. Yes?
I'm not sure who would be the best to answer this, but specifically, how does this bill increase the penalties? You know, can we talk a little bit more about how it's increasing the penalties, or how many, does that additional years, does that?
Sarah, help me out on this. Is
It goes up a class, which lengthens it 1 to 5 years.
that's additional time upon if you're convicted the second time around of a felon. So, thank you.
Major Hibbs or Chief Conrad, what next would you hope in terms of legislative action to try and get these legal or illegal weapons off the streets?
We are open to anything that might help us make our city safer. And it is always a struggle. This is one of the first times, and I'm so proud of Senator Syme for helping us with this bill. One of the first times in a while we've been able to see any kind of gun legislation move forward. And I think this one, because of its focus on people that have committed crimes in the past and they are in the process of committing a crime again, it made it much more palatable for people, even if they are very pro-gun, very pro-NRA, to support this bill, because it's very narrowly focused on criminals that are committing other crimes. We're not going to find that same unity in the legislature about some of the other things that we would like to see, but we are willing to continue to work with our partners like Senator Simon and other members of the General Assembly to do everything we can to try to move common sense gun legislation forward. But to be talking about specifics, it's really premature.
This has been a Metro TV production, a public service of Louisville Metro government.